The following conversations are taken from our channel membership exclusive weekly live show that we do on Saturdays from 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time called Members Talk Live. Find out how you can become a member and appear on the show. All of the information is down in the description below, as well as all the links to the channels of today's guests. Check them out, and I hope to talk with you very soon. We got Frank, we got Ryan, and we got our most anticipated movies because you guys may have noticed it's a new year. It's 2024 now. So we're going to start off the first show with the most anticipated of 2024. And we've also got Michael joining us for this as well. Made it just in the nick of time. We're just going to have a lively discussion talking about... Actually, you know what? Before we start with number 10, I'm going to throw it first to you, Ryan. I want to ask you, what do you think of this year looking at it right now? Because last year when I was looking at the year, getting my top 10 most anticipated ready and stuff like that, I was so overwhelmed. It felt like weekend after weekend after weekend, there was just big blockbuster, big sequel, big franchise movie. And this year, when I was looking at my top 10 most anticipated, putting it together, I found that there was a lot less. It didn't feel as overwhelming. So how are you feeling about this year going into it?
I don't know. Personally, I think there's a lot to like coming out this year. I mean, just this month alone, there's Book of Clarence, which kind of has big Life of Brian energy. I'm a big Monty Python fan, so I mean that right there. I don't know. I don't look super far ahead with movies. I take the movies as they come out week by week. But that said, I'm excited to see the movies. I memean, I sort of scrounged through a bit of a top 50 list, to take a look at some of the big stuff. I was like, this looks good. I'm excited to see where it goes.
This is the first time that I notice how like it's similar to like last year and the year before, where I keep saying, like the same perspective as you have, Zach, is like, okay, this year, it may be overwhelming, but also it's still pretty interesting. I mean, I said that last year as well. Like, there's some interesting stuff happening. Let's take a look and see. I mean, what's unique about this year is that we only have one MCU movie that's coming up this summer. Yeah, but other than that, I'm not really complaining. No matter how much I really want there to be like at least a second one, but I think with one it's just fine. So let's go.
Man, I'll tell you this. I'm actually kind of intrigued. It looks like a lot of big Hollywood blockbusters are coming out. Godzilla X Kong, and then like he said, Deadpool 3. Like, there's so much like big movies coming out that I'm actually really, really excited, man. It kind of feels like the 2000s, where like every movie that came out in the 2000s was a big Hollywood blockbuster. I'm all for it.
I'm a little bit worried about the comic book movie season this year because they took a hit last year. A lot of the movies did not come out very successful with the comic book movies, and we had like 3 MCU and we had 4 DCEU movies come out last year. This year, Deadpool and Joker 2 really have to make the audience like comic book movies again, because we got 3 Sonyverse movies otherwise coming out with Madam Web, Kraven the Hunter, and Venom 3, which I do not feel confident about any of those. So
yeah, I the more I see the Madam Web trailer, the more I'm like, what is this? It looks cheap. The acting does not look good. I mean, like Dakota Johnson, like, she's a good actress. Like, 50 Shades of Grey movies notwithstanding, she can give a good performance, but she does not look like she's giving her A game in this.
No, it really does. It does not at all.
Keep in mind also, the writers of Madam Web are the same writers of Morbius. Also, as far as I know.
Oh, wait.
We're still excited, right? We're still excited.
Right. It could be doomed, or it could be the comeback of the century. But we'll see what happens with Madam Web. Let's start off with our number 10 most anticipated movies of this year. I'm going to start with you, Michael. Give us your number 10 most anticipated movie or TV show of the year.
Number 10 is a movie that I didn't even know about until about a month ago, but it's a little movie coming out, I believe, in February. It's called Argyle. It looks a lot of fun. Like, I don't know if it's like based off of anything. The trailer, it just looks like a really fun movie. It kind of reminded me of a movie that came out a couple years ago called The Lost City, where Sandra Bullock played like an author.
Yeah, a little bit. I got the vibe too.
All right. All right.
But this one actually looks a lot more fun. You got Sam Rockwell being a badass because I mean Sam Rockwell's awesome. So I'd say that's probably my number 10. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they do that.
I mean, Matthew Vaughn, I really like Kick-Ass. I like the first Kingsman movie. I don't really like Secret or what's the other one? Golden Circle.
Yeah.
The sequel that he did. I didn't really like that one, but I really like his style and I really like his comedic kind of dark humor in a lot of ways with this movie. So yeah, Argyle looks cool. And you got Bryce Dallas Howard, I believe, is in there with Henry Cavill. So the cast looks really good. How are you feeling about Argyle, Ryan?
I don't know. I kind of go in between thinking, oh, this could be good, and I'm not feeling it. I guess I'm just a little burned out by Matthew Vaughn. I wasn't too big a fan of his Kingsman prequel, and I did not like Golden Circle. Who knows? Maybe it'll be like the original Kingsman. It's sort of a bit of a dark horse February movie,
Argyle is actually on my list of her anticipated movies.
All right, we'll hold off on that then. We'll wait till we get to yours, man. Ryan, give us your number 10.
So I'm not going in any particular order. I like all of these films pretty equally. So my number 10, Dune Part 2. I saw the first film, really enjoyed it. I read the book back in high school, so I'm really excited to see the completion of the book with Part 2, Timothy Chalamet. And I'm really excited to see the new additions to the cast: Florence Pugh, Christopher Walken, Austin Butler. So I'm just really excited to see where they go with the sequel.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna find many people who disagree with you. Let me guess, guys. You have Dune on your list somewhere as well? Yeah.
I have it as an honorable mention.
Honorable mention. Okay.
Honorable mention. Okay.
That's
For
fair,
sure.
man. You know what? I'm not even going to speak because I haven't seen Dune 1. I'm only anticipating Dune 2 because everyone else is anticipating it. So I'm like, I mean, I got to check this out, right? It must be pretty good. So I'm looking forward to it. Frank, give us your number 10.
Yeah, I'm actually on the same boat as Ryan. Just looking at my list because I'm just hype about all 10 of these projects. But my number 10 is Ballerina, the John Wick spinoff.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yes, yeah, and very interestingly, I just found out about this like 2 days ago, and I felt like I just went through the roof and back because I love Ana de Armas, and I would love to see her and Keanu Reeves sharing their screen. What's more interesting is that this movie was directed by Len Wiseman, who directed a couple of the Underworld movies, even though they weren't that great, critically, but visually and action wise, like it has something. It's got a hidden gem to it. So I'm excited for that.
Hey, Todd Phillips went from directing Hangover 3 to Joker, so
Right. There we go.
You never know. Yeah, I was kind of with you, Frank, though. I did not realize this was coming out this year. I had heard about it for years. And when I was looking at like what's in my anticipated list, and I saw that it was on there, I was like, oh, well, it's John Wick. So yeah, I'm putting a John Wick movie in. Well, I didn't put it in my official most anticipated on the main channel, but I've got additional top 10s that I'm putting on this list, and I think it made it. I don't know. We'll find out. But I am looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to that quite a bit. I got Gladiator 2 coming in at number 10.
Wait.
I really love the first Gladiator movie. And this one I'm more curious about. Now, I did see Napoleon last year. And that kind of sunk my anticipation for Ridley Scott films for a while, to be honest with you. But this is still the same team coming back. I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with it, how they're going to spin off the story or continue the story. I'm not going to spoil the end of the first Gladiator, but it's kind of hard to continue the story with how that movie ends. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they put together, and I'm hoping that it's great.
I'm a huge fan of the first one. It sucks that Russell Crowe is not going to be in it, but it's still interesting because the first one is such a huge classic in the early 2000s, and Pedro Pascal is in it, so he's just one of my all-time favorite actors. So I can't wait to see what he's going to bring to the screen. So I'm just as excited for that.
Man, I'm trying to think. I know Pedro is in it. Didn't they say something about Denzel being in it?
I believe
If I'm not
so.
mistaken.
Can't remember off the top of my
Okay.
head, but I believe
I think
so.
so. Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Okay, yeah. Well, that's what I'm excited for because Denzel is like in my top 5 favorite actors of all time. It's impossible for Denzel to give a bad performance. It's impossible. So I'm really excited to see. But as we heard before, it's a shame that Russell Crowe's not going to be in it. But I'm really interested to see what they could do because they didn't really set up Gladiator for a sequel. I mean, it's been years since I've seen it, but I'd be interested to see it. Honestly, I'm really excited.
Let's start with you, Frank, this time. What's your number 9?
So my number 9, I was second guessing this to see if I want to like push it a bit more up as like most anticipated, but I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it there. But it's actually X-Men '97 coming up on Disney Plus.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I didn't grow up with the original X-Men animated series, but during lockdown of the pandemic, I did binge watch the entire series, and I enjoyed every arc that they just put there. It was just well crafted, and I'm mostly excited about the voice actors who voiced the original characters, like Rogue, Cyclops, and Storm. Like most of them are going to be returning. And I think it's going to be released in, I think it's this March also.
Oh.
Yeah, so I can't wait for that.
I didn't grow up much with the X-Men 90s series. I've seen a couple episodes here and there, but anyone else really excited for this X-Men 97? Ryan, you look like you have something to say.
I don't know. I didn't even know that was a thing until now. But I like X-Men. I mean, I like the X-Men. Most of the X-Men movies. I mean, maybe I'll check it out.
Man, I used to watch X-Men Evolution, the animated series, when I was young. I was always a big X-Men fan. Like I've honestly actually chose X-Men over the Avengers, in my opinion. But I'm actually really excited to see what they do with with X-Men '97. Yeah, that's all I could say. It'll probably bring out the little kid in me. It'll probably remind me of little fond memories when I was 6 years old.
They're gonna have the same theme song, right? They can't switch that.
They better have
Up.
the same theme.
Yeah, I think the fans would
it's theirs.
riot. Michael, why don't you keep us going? What's your number 9?
Right, number 9 is another movie that I didn't really know about till I saw the trailer. But that is the new movie with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, The Fall Guy.
My number 9, also Fall Guy.
That movie looks a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And the reason it looks fun is because it's the second time in Ryan Gosling's career where he plays a stunt driver because he did the same exact thing in the movie Drive. So it's almost kind of like an unofficial sequel to Drive, but not really.
Yeah, just really love the comedic tone it's going for, and it's just I don't know, it's something I love seeing in the trailer. Just seeing Jason Bourne get referenced, it's so weird seeing like a movie from like a franchise from the early 2000s still has such a major influence that films are still using it as a vocabulary for reference, and people are still getting the reference.
I thought those worked really well in the trailer. All those references, I love them.
I seen the Fall Guy trailer when I went to see the Marvels. They played the trailer before the movie started. It's the first I've heard about, and yeah, it left a pretty good impression. I gotta say, with the comedy and the action stunts. I think it's gonna have like a pretty interesting dynamic. So yeah, it's definitely one of my movies I'll be watching. So.
For my number 9, I'm gonna go with Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. And I'm not the biggest Ghostbusters fan. I like the first one. I don't really like the sequel all that much. Actually, aside from Afterlife, I don't really like either of the sequels. But I thought Afterlife was a good resurgence of the franchise. I thought they did some real fun stuff. I like the characters that they introduced. And I kind of like in this trailer with Frozen Empire, it looks like they're getting a little bit darker. We're going back to New York. It looks like the original Ghostbusters are still a part of it, which I was not expecting when I watched that trailer. So that's also exciting. And there was something about the trailer that I think it comes out around Halloween time. If it doesn't, that's a major mistake. It might come out during the summer.
I think it comes out this March. It was delayed by the actors strike, and I don't know. I wasn't huge on Afterlife, and I guess it looks like it could be decent.
Yeah, it's weird that they wouldn't put this out during Halloween time, but I don't know. I guess that's their decision. I'm looking forward to it. I think the trailer looked intriguing, and you got Paul Rudd finally suited up as a Ghostbuster, so that's also got me pretty excited. And let's start with you, Michael. What's your number 8?
Is going to be Godzilla X Kong New Empire. Now, I've said this before in like some previous ones we did. I'm a huge Godzilla fan. I've loved the original ones. I'm excited for this one, but I'm also afraid that it's probably just going to be very mediocre, but the monster scenes will be at least entertaining, which I know most of the time people just go to these movies because they just want to see fun monster fights, but I'm a little bit worried, but I'm also excited. So that's why it's in my number 8.
I thought the trailer was a lot of fun. I thought it was very light and fluffy. It does not look any different than Godzilla versus Kong. I think it's going to be the same kind of fun with the monsters, but the human story is probably going to be like, take it or leave it. I will say, though, my anticipation for Godzilla X Kong has gone down since I've watched Godzilla -1. Because Godzilla -1 is just so awesome. Like, I understand the love for Godzilla after watching Godzilla -1.
Zach, Godzilla -1 is one of those monster movies that proves you can make a good monster movie, but also give us a compelling human story.
Yes, absolutely. Which I do not believe Godzilla X Kong is going to give us. But
Blonde Emmerich, you taking notes here?
I'm this close of considering of doing like a marathon of Godzilla, just the classics, and
I'm already doing it.
Yeah, you're already doing it. There you go. See,
I'm 7 films in of 36.
Oh my
36.
God! Yeah.
There's like 36 Godzilla movies from, I believe the first one's 1954, and then all the way up to Godzilla -1 with the American ones mixed in there. It's 36, and I'm 7 in.
I would listen. I would dare myself to, I don't know, even throw in the King Kong films as well. Like, just give it all, and let me like be immersed into this lore of just monster fights.
Okay, my number 8, The Bike Riders.
Oh, I forgot that got pushed till next year.
Yeah, it's like it got pushed back like 6 months. It's like, which is a bummer. I was really excited. Austin Butler, Tom Hardy, Jodie Comer, all 3 actors. I really enjoy watching, especially Butler. He's been on a roll the past few movies. It feels like I don't know, I love the aesthetic. The trailer has a nice energy to it. I don't know. It looks like an interesting movie. It has a bit of a Martin Scorsese crime drama gangster epic feel to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, it has my curiosity too, because not only did it get pushed back 6 months, but Disney like dumped it. Like, they were all set to release this thing. I believe it was supposed to come out last month. It was supposed to come out in December of 2023. And like, last minute, they just pulled it off the release slate. Disney did, and then like put it up for market for other studios to buy. And it was like this abrupt thing. I don't know why they did it, but they did it, and someone bought it, and now it's coming out next year. And yeah, the trailers, they looked really, really good. I was actually really anticipating seeing that last month, and I was bummed when it got pulled. But let's go on to your number 8 then, Frank. What's your number 8?
So my number 8, it is surprisingly a new Lord of the Rings project, The War of Rohirrim.
Right, the animated one they're doing.
Yes, and this is yet another prequel sort of it's a series. Yeah, it's an animated series also. And it's taking place, for those for you guys, if you have seen Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, where the fight takes place in Helm's Deep. So it's gonna be, the story is gonna be based on that place and the King of Rohan. I forgot his name now, but it's like it takes place like a couple hundred years before like the main Lord of the Rings story plot takes place, like before the Gollum finds the ring and all that. So it's gonna be a pretty interesting one for me, and I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, mostly for the motion pictures and shows. Yeah,
I have not been paying attention to this at all. This has totally been flying under the radar. I do like a lot of cinephiles do. The trilogy of Lord of the Rings is phenomenal filmmaking. It's incredible what they're able to do. Peter Jackson, the innovation is phenomenal. Outside of those movies, I don't really care much. I didn't bother watching Rings of Power. So like this animated film that they're doing has been slipping for me, but it also does have my attention whenever it's brought up. I'm always like, oh yeah, that's it. Same with the Transformers animated film that's coming out later. I think it's just called Transformers 1. Every time that's brought up, I'm like, oh yeah, that's
because they got Chris Hemsworth in it.
Yes, they do. He's Optimus Prime. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do with that.
Gosh.
That's quite the tall order going up against Pierre Cola. I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll let him use his natural Australian accent. It'll certainly be a new take.
Please do make Optimus Prime Australian. I want to see that.
Roll out.
Next thing we need is a mechanical Thor just speaking on the screen.
My number 8 is one that's coming up very quickly that I was not caring about whatsoever until the trailer dropped, and that's Echo. Echo comes out, I believe, Wednesday. It comes out the 10th, which two concerning things. While the trailer looked awesome and has me very intrigued, like after that trailer dropped, I was like, oh yeah, I'm hitting play on that the minute it drops. It drops on Wednesday in the middle of the week, and it drops all 5 episodes all at once. A little concerning. That has me a little bit concerned. That's a weird time to drop it and all episodes at once. I mean, that just looks like they're trying to bury the show. But I can't get that trailer out of my head, guys. That trailer looks awesome. It looks gritty. I love Kingpin in the trailer. It looks like we are going to get Daredevil and Kingpin in this show. Based on the last little featurette they shared, it looks like we might get quite a big dose of them in the show. Yes. So, and I'm also intrigued the way that the last teaser TV spot played. It made it seem like the Netflix shows are canon to this show.
Yeah, they basically just confirmed it, like just flat out by including those flashback scenes, the ones that are in black and white, that were featured in season. I can't remember if it was season 1 or season 2. I want to say season 1. The Daredevil show.
Parts to me are like, is this more signs that Marvel may not be all on one page? Because I'm pretty sure they said that this wasn't going to be the same Daredevil, but it was going to be like the Daredevil from the show, and now they're just kind of flat out saying, oh yeah, it is connected to the Netflix show. So hopefully that's not a confusion with one creative part of Marvel with the upper heads of Marvel. Hopefully everything's going smoothly there.
So, I mean, outside of like the little TV air spots, showing just brief snippets of it, and the fact that it's going to be like the first equivalent rated R project for the series, I don't know. Maybe if I saw the trailer, I'd be interested. But otherwise, I don't know. I guess I'm not interested. The only thing that really catches my attention is, the R rating, which, is new territory. But beyond that.
Oh, that's what I was going to add. I was going to say, I'm also interested because this is the first project under the new Marvel Spotlight.
Correct.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that feels. Does it feel like the other Disney Plus Marvel shows, but they just like slapped a new label on it to try and get more interest? Or is it going to feel different, like they said it was going to feel different and a little bit less conjoined to the rest of the MCU? I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to add to that as far as the Marvel Spotlight piece, because if you recall, the idea is that will focus more on the characters and stories that are more street level. And it is going to be for more mature, for more mature audience. So that way people won't have to feel like, it's all tie into like the continuity of the MCU that we've all seen before. And, most of us have not seen like all the previous movies or previous TV shows. No, this is going to be a unique feel, Marvel Spotlight, so that it's just one story in itself where most people, can be won over by just watching, just being entertained, but for through the mature content that they put out. And that's it.
I did see the trailer actually just yesterday. I know it was like all over on my Facebook feed. I finally watched it. I'm interested. It's just, Marvel shows for the most part have been great. I just wish that one day, if my prayers are answered, they'll bring back Luke Cage, because I would really like a season 3 of Luke Cage. I thought Mike Coulter was just incredible.
Mm.
Jessica Jones was great. I could give her take on Iron Fist. But Echo actually does look interesting. I'm hoping for as Zach put it, a more gritty, violent Marvel. I mean, Marvel definitely was a little bit edgy when it first started, then it toned it down for kids. So I'm glad that they're kind of bringing back those old aspects of previous Marvel projects because they realize that all the kids that grew up watching the Disney Marvel are now adults.
And you bring up a good point too with like if this is connected to the Netflix shows as much as they're saying it's going to be connected, that is the open door to bringing these other characters back. You could get Jessica Jones, you could get Luke Cage popping up in here if they were all still connected to that world. So, hey, maybe your wish will come true. And we'll start with Frank this time. What's your number 7?
But yeah, my number 7 is Gladiator 2, and can't wait to see just Pedro Pascal, see what he brings, and that same magic that I saw of like epic, accurate but not really accurate kind of action put into the first one also be brought in its sequel.
My number 7, The Book of Clarence. It's coming out pretty soon this month. It's got some of my favorite actors.
Next weekend, isn't it? Is it next weekend?
I think so. It's got Lakeith Stanfield, James McAvoy, and I think Benedict Cumberbatch. I don't know. I've seen the full trailer for it. It looks amazing. I am a big fan of parody movies. It's not okay. It's not exactly a parody, maybe more satire, but whatever it is, it looks hilarious. I love the premise and the casting choices for it.
I'm intrigued by it. I think that the premise of this guy who's trying to convince people that he's the Messiah and then being put to the test, and obviously tests that he's unable to do because he's not the Messiah, has an interesting concept to play with. And I think that it could end up being really funny, or I don't know, it could miss the ball. Who knows? But I'm intrigued by it for sure.
Number 7 for me is not a mainstream Hollywood movie, but I'm very excited for Terrifier 3 because I really did enjoy the first 2 Terrifier movies. I thought they were very horror movies that like actually decided to take a risk and push the boundaries because movies like to make horror movies PG-13. Like I just saw Night Swim a couple days ago. And well, that was definitely a PG-13 horror film, but I miss I miss all those old horror movies that really took chances and wanted to push the boundaries on like what most movie studios wouldn't accept. So Terrifier 3, I'm very excited to see.
I will say for myself, I watched the first Terrifier and I don't need to go back. So, I mean, I know that he's become a horror icon. People love him. People love that Art the Clown, it's been weird seeing him kind of like pop up in this like pop culture atmosphere because I watched Terrifier when it was still unknown. My friends and I just found it one day at like 2:00 in the morning and we put it on and it was the weirdest, trippiest, grossest thing that I had seen at that time. And then I forgot about it for a couple of years. And then all of a sudden, he's just everywhere I look now. It's been crazy. But I'm glad people are enjoying the movies. I will say that the Christmas angle is also an interesting direction to take it.
I haven't seen, the first one. I did see the sequel. And it certainly has its moments. David Thornton, or the actor playing Art the Clown, he's really good. But I just found the film to be overindulgent and just way too long. Like that film definitely needed a fresh set of eyes to edit it. So I don't know. I guess if Terrifier 3 is going to come out, get a new editor.
I've only seen the first one as well, and that one time, days later, like I just completely voluntarily repressed it. But I don't know when the trailer, if I see it, I'll be like, okay, let's decide if we want to like binge watch the first one and the second one. The second one I have not seen it, but we'll see.
You can also throw in All Hallows Eve, I think it's called. It's the short. It's a series of short films that Art the Clown first appeared in. Very different than his iteration as he is now, but that's kind of his origin, was this like series of short films that they put out. I think it's called All Hallows Eve. So That's something to start with too.
Hallow's Eve, that's right.
That's what it's called? All right, perfect. For my number 7, I'm just going to throw out Agatha. Whatever, Darkhold, Agatha, all along. They've changed this title so many times that I don't even remember what it's called anymore. I think at one point it was called the Darkhold Diaries, but now I think it's called All Along. I think they just decided to name it the song, which I don't know. That seems a little gimmicky. I kind of liked Darkhold Diaries a little bit more, but I liked the introduction. Yeah, I like the introduction to Agatha and WandaVision, and I'm intrigued to see what they do with this because last we saw her in WandaVision, she was like trapped in her own mind as playing the neighbor character forever. So I'm curious to see what they do with that. Are they going to snap her out of it? Is it a prequel? I don't really know much about it, but I'm intrigued.
I think and the title is just so funny the way it just switches. There was a time when people on the internet was just saying like, oh, maybe this is just Agatha. It's Agatha all along. That's just changing the title. And I think they're the studio they may be doing this on purpose, just to as a way of like promoting some form of element that we're going to be seeing in Agatha. But yeah, it is going to be taking place after the events of WandaVision. The one thing that I can kind of see how it's going to be a little bit, I wouldn't say iffy, but it's going to be like, oh man, this sucks. Not the show itself that's going to suck, but it's not going to capture that same hype or that same magic that when WandaVision first came out. Because if you look back, it was the beginning of 2021, just post-pandemic, and everybody was just desperate for MCU project to just be out there, and WandaVision captivated that with Elizabeth Olsen, with and with all the characters that we know. So I doubt that it's going to do the same thing when Agatha comes out, but I feel like people will enjoy it.
No, that's very true. It's not going to have the same, at least it doesn't look like it's going to have the same must-watch TV factor that WandaVision had. And I don't think Agatha was as beloved to like carry on the love of WandaVision in her own show, but we'll see what she does. And Catherine Hahn is great. So Ryan, hit us with your number 6.
Okay, the Mean Girls readaptation coming out this month.
Oh, that's next weekend. I know for sure that's next weekend.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie in full from beginning to end, but the parts I've seen I've liked. And fun fact, when I was in college, my Calc 1 professor, Mean Girls was her favorite movie. I'm interested to see where the remake takes it with the more musical adaptation, even if they seem afraid to say, oh yeah, this is a musical. But I mean, with a lot of high profile musical bombs over the past few years, I can see why.
I might check. I've been asking my wife if she's interested in going to see it, because if she's not, I'm probably not going to see it, because there's a lot that comes out on January 12th, even on streaming. But I don't know. It looks kind of cool that they got like Tina Fey and some of the originals in there, and musical aspect. It's based off of the Broadway musical, so I'm sure the music sounds great. But yeah, it's not that high up there for me.
I always will be a fan of the 2004 original Mean Girls. Perhaps I'll see it. I feel like I would have to ask if my niece. I mean, I don't have to, but my niece isn't too familiar with the story. But it's a popular comedy movie, and seeing the musical for the first time, it's also pretty popular, especially on Broadway. So yeah, maybe.
I do have some anticipation actually. I actually, very much like Frank, I adore, surprisingly, the original Mean Girls movie. I remember for the longest time I refused to watch it because, being a typical guy, younger, I was like, I don't want to watch an all-girl movie, and I loved it. My mom and sister got me to watch it, and I think I've seen that movie so many times. I could have the movie with the volume all the way down, and I could literally just do all the dialogue by myself. That's how much I've seen it. So I'm interested, man. I actually like musicals. Like, some of my favorite movies of all time are musicals. Like, I love Grease, I love Singing in the Rain, and one of my favorite comedies becoming a musical, I'd be interested to see. I've never seen the Broadway musical before, so I'm excited to see it.
I'll tell you what I do want to see, though. I want to see Michael do a live stream of his one-man show for Mean Girls, where he just recites all the dialogue as the movie plays mute in the background.
That is so funny.
I'll set the date, so you guys better be prepared.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Why don't you give us your number 6 while we're at it, Michael?
Number 6 for me, probably has to be Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire.
Nice.
Very excited, but also at the same time a little bit worried. I do like the fact that for once they actually have an original villain. That's
yeah.
what I'm happy about. I love Ghostbusters, the original. I grew up with it. I have a soft spot for Ghostbusters too. It's not great. Ghostbusters with all the female cast, I don't think is as bad as people say it is, but it still is a pretty bad movie. Afterlife, I didn't love. I liked it about as much as I did Force Awakens. I thought it was just a good way to try to bring back everything. It's just Ghostbusters Afterlife did it slightly better, in my opinion. But I'm excited to see what they do with Frozen Empire. It looks really good. As you said earlier, Zach, it looks like they're taking a more darker route, which I like. And yeah, that's all I can say. I'm really excited to see what they do with Frozen Empire.
My number 6, we've also mentioned it. It's Argyle.
Argyle?
Agent,
Nice.
Yep, Agent Argyle. Yeah, I have to go back and see how to pronounce it. One of the things I wanted to share is like I've even way before, like I would imagine, like you could imagine, like if let's say if you were like J.K. Rowling and all of a sudden like you would actually stumble upon the real world that you were like writing about, and like it was like real all along, and that you yourself are the author. So that's kind of like that's what I was actually getting from the trailer when I first saw it in theaters. Yeah, and like, okay, you could imagine yourself like, okay, if you were a comic book author, and and the world of your favorite superheroes or characters that you've been writing about for years, like it just comes to life. Like what? So, I'm interested to see how the story kind of like starts off and goes from there.
My number 6 is Kung Fu Panda 3.
Not this time. You're wrong.
Not 3. It's 4. Kung Fu Panda 4. I've already seen 3. No, I like the Kung Fu Panda trilogy quite a bit, and I really like the trailer for Kung Fu Panda 4. I love that Jack Black is back. That they're bringing some of the old villains from the franchise back is interesting. I think it looks like it could fit right in with the trilogy. Hopefully, it's more Toy Story 4 than anything else, because Toy Story 4 was a great an epilogue, I would say, to Toy Story the trilogy. And I could see Kung Fu Panda 4 maybe being the same thing, or even just starting a whole new trilogy on its own. So yeah, looking forward to Kung Fu Panda 4. What's in your top 5?
Oh, my top 5, starting at number 5, is A Quiet Place Day One.
Nice.
I am really we've been waiting for something as far as A Quiet Place to just come up since part 2, and like I don't think we have gotten a trailer yet. As far as I know.
Yet.
No, not yet.
I'm waiting.
I haven't seen
it. Same here. Like if it's, I think from what I understand, this is like a sort of a prequel from part 1 also, because day one after the invasion and things that have transpired. So yeah, just expand and turn this into a franchise where other weird stuff also happens, with John Krasinski is in it. So but this one, I don't think John is going to be in it, from what I also know.
I know he's producing it, and he was on set, because there's that picture of him holding the marker, but I don't know if he's actually in it. But
yeah,
I'd be happy if he was.
Right.
Okay, my number 5, Drive Away Dolls, another victim of the Screen Actors strike. I'm very excited for it. Ethan Coen, Margaret Qualley. It's also looks like it'll have some small appearances from Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal. So just, I don't know, I enjoyed the trailer. Looked fun. It just bummed, that we gotta wait a few more months for it.
I've never even heard of it. So, you guys hear about it? No?
I haven't. No.
Cool. Well, you have me intrigued, Ryan. I'm gonna look that up after this is done.
Oh, sweet. Good to hear.
Michael, how about your number 5?
5 is a sequel that we've been waiting for a long time. Beetlejuice 2.
Yeah.
Very, very excited. I'm very excited because Michael Keaton is coming back. For some reason, I kept thinking that Johnny Depp was going to play Beetlejuice because that's just Tim Burton's guy to always go to. This is actually the first Tim Burton movie that he's done in a while where he didn't cast Johnny Depp, and I'm like, that's surprising. So Michael Keaton's coming back. I saw the set photos; it showed him in his costume and everything, and Michael Keaton's gained a little bit of weight, but he looks exactly how he did back in 1988. So excited for Beetlejuice 2.
Do we know if Winona Ryder is going to be Beetlejuice 2 again?
I think so. I think we saw that
Yeah,
photo
she
of
is.
her.
She's Jenna Ortega is actually playing Winona Ryder's daughter in the movie.
Oh,
Right.
okay, that's how she
Ooh.
factors in. Okay, all right, all
Oh,
right.
there we go.
All right.
Perfect. That's actually kind of perfect casting if you think about it. Jenna Ortega
Yeah.
as Winona Ryder's daughter. That's perfect.
Yeah, they did a good job
Yeah.
with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she can bring the Wednesday energy, kind of,
Oh my gosh.
but a little less socially awkward, but just a little less.
I still gotta finish Wednesday.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either.
It's really good.
Season 2 comes
it's
out this
good.
year
Good
too,
show.
doesn't it?
I
Wednesday season 2?
believe.
Maybe I'll wait for
believe it
season 2
should
to
have.
come out. Maybe I'll watch it then. All right, my number 5. Kicking off my top 5 is one we've talked about already, but it's Ballerina. Yeah, Ballerina with Ana de Armas set in the John Wick world, in between chapter 3 and 4. So you do have the possibility of a John Wick cameo popping up in there. I hope that it can bring the action and expand the lore and the world of John Wick that I love so much. And Ana de Armas is awesome, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping that it's a good one. And back into. I didn't see the Continental series. I didn't hear great things about it, and it kind of just like passed me by. But I'm excited to get back into the John Wick world. Kick us off, Michael. What's our number 4?
Number 4 for me would probably have to be, like Frank said, A Quiet Place, Day One. I love the first Quiet Place movie. I love the second one. But I'm also kind of interested to see what they do because Quiet Place Part 2, we got little glimpses of what Day One was. I can't confirm. Did they say Day One was going to focus on like a different family? Is that what they're going to be doing, or is it going to be the same actors?
Different family.
Yeah.
I like that. It's just I think like I just really liked Emily Blunt's character. I loved that family so much where after number 2 ended, I really just wanted to see them again in another movie. But the kids are like getting so older now. I feel like they kind of messed up on that part because now they're gonna have to explain how older the kids have gotten. Because like Quiet Place Part 2 ended on such a like it literally just what's the word I'm looking for, a cliffhanger to the point where it's like it's like if they make a third movie now they're gonna see that Noah Jupe has gone through a substantial amount of puberty and does not look like the little boy that he did in the first 2 movies.
He didn't even look like the little boy he did in the first movie. Yeah, growth spurt in between those movies.
I get and they couldn't explain it. It's just like Star Wars. Somehow Palpatine returned, and somehow he just went through a growth spurt.
For sure.
All right, my number 4, Mickey 17. I know nothing about this movie except for 2 things: Robert Pattinson and Bong Joon-ho. I might be mispronouncing it, but the guy who directed Parasite and Snowpiercer. So, like, really great director. Just excited to see what the film's going to be like.
That has my attention too, just for the same reasons that you pointed out. I haven't seen too many Bong Joon-ho movies. I think I've only ever seen Parasite. I want to go through his whole filmography before the movie comes out, but yeah, that one looks really cool. Frank, what's your
bad movie in my opinion?
Sorry, what was that, Michael?
Oh, I was just saying.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
We'll never know.
Yeah, it was gonna be so good too.
That was so perfect. I'm leaving that in. That's hilarious to me. Frank, what's your number 4?
All right. Well, oh man, my number 4 it is Joker Folie à Deux. That is my best French accent that I could actually throw out. Oh man,
All right,
Michael,
That's a good
Michael,
one.
we gotta know. We gotta know.
Yeah, that was actually so perfect,
Parasite.
man.
I guess that kind of worked out because originally it went over to Frank, but last minute I just said, Zach, you should check out Bong Joon-ho's movies. So thankfully it didn't cut out when I was saying anything important. So yeah, I feel like all these times I'm kicking out, I'm like, does Zach just not like me? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
no.
And goodbye. And goodbye.
So that's my number 4. I would love more than anything to actually see Lady Gaga play as Harley Quinn. That I truly do feel like. I mean, if you have not seen her in Stars Born and House of Gucci, I don't know what you're doing as far as missing out like the rage that this artist, also actress, has, and I would love to see just lose her mind, her and and Joaquin Phoenix both in the same screen. So
Great actress.
yes,
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
she's great. Amazing. Again, like you said, House of Gucci, Stars Born brings her A game. Yeah.
hmm
And with this being like a little bit of a musical, she's perfect. Perfect
absolutely.
casting. My number 4 is Severance season 2. Did you guys see Severance?
No, I didn't. I've heard good things about it.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I'll keep it brief. Severance season 1 was some of the most intriguing television. I think it was 2021 when that came out. And it's just such an interesting concept of these people that had this procedure done where they go and work for this place. But when they go to work, they basically they leave not remembering anything. So it's like a completely separate personality exists when they're at work, and a completely separate personality exists when they're out of work, and the personalities that exist when they're at work are trying to get out because they just live there and they're sick of it. So they try to basically attack the other personality out. It's so fascinating and it's so well done, and the way that the season ended, again, I won't give it away, I've been drooling for season 2, and it's been like 2 years, and
Nice.
they're still filming the season. The writer strike and the actor strike affected it, like it affected everything else. But it does still look likely that we're getting it this year. So I'm super excited for it. And if you guys have Apple TV, I recommend checking out Severance. It's a little bit of a slow burn, but it's really, really, really good. All right, we're in our top 3. Let's start with you, Frank. Our top 3. What you got?
Well, we mentioned this, but number 3, I have so many that we mentioned, like in the top, in my top 10, but in my top 5. But my number 3 is Echo, and
Nice.
I stand by for what I said last time when we talked about Echo. Is that I will gladly request a day off just so I can binge this show in one go.
Well, Wednesday.
Yeah,
There you
exactly.
go.
Exactly. So I'm really super excited. Vincent D'Onofrio is gonna bring Kingpin to at his height as he did in the Daredevil show. I mean, he is Kingpin. There's no question to ask. And yeah, there's nothing else I could say. We pretty much said it all when we first mentioned it.
Okay, my number 3, Challengers. It's got Zendaya. It's got, I can't remember his name, but he was in
right.
West Side Story. He played the kid. One of the
Ansel Elgort? Is that Ansel Elgort?
no, not him. The other guy, his best friend, who spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, West Side Story, but he's the guy who dies.
I don't remember.
He was. He
Or-
sort of
yeah.
talked like with a weird register, like John Mulaney, if he was, like a gang member. I don't know. It's got a cast member from West Side Story. So that right there, I'm excited for it. The tennis matches look fun to watch. It has a nice, steamy love triangle to it. I'm excited for it.
Nice. Yeah, I remember that one got pushed and people were really upset
Yeah.
on Twitter. But I don't really know anything about it. So
Yeah, I think it was supposed to come in September, and then it got pushed out. Yeah.
right.
Well, Ryan, based on what you just said, I would like to see a movie where John Mulaney plays like a gang member. That's hilarious.
Yes, I love John Mulaney, and I would totally be down for that.
I mean, that's not my original
like him.
interest. I heard it like from
Yeah, like-
another YouTuber.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, like. Well, I mean, like imagine American History X, but instead of Edward Norton, it's John Mulaney.
Oh my gosh.
Sign me up.
That'd be crazy. Right.
Michael, what's your number 3?
Number 3, if you guys want to walk out, or if you want to kick me out of the chat right now, then I can understand. Number 3 is probably going to be Venom 3.
All right, I was wondering if we were gonna get a Sonyverse.
yeah.
I'll
movie in
accept
here.
that. I will accept that.
Wait, Venom 3 is coming
Look.
out this year?
Yep.
It is.
Oh,
Yeah.
Look, for me, well, the reason I'm excited for it is because, sure, the Venom movies aren't the Venom movies that we wanted. Like, when you look at what we could have gotten, we were kind of screwed. The first Venom movie I somewhat enjoy. Venom Let There Be Carnage, I thought was able to embrace the cheesiness, because I mean, there are cheesy aspects of the Venom comics. You know, a lot of people forget that, but it's because it was special to me because me and my family, we went to go see the first Venom film, and my mom didn't really have interest in seeing it, but my mom ended up loving it. So then when Venom Let There Be Carnage came out, we took the whole family to see it, and I even took my son with me. So I'm excited as that aspect, just something that me and my family are excited to do. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. They always change directors. Like, Venom never always has the same director because people just go back and forth with it.
I will give Venom 2 this. My mom liked it. I mean, she's not the hugest fan of comic book movies, and I never would have expected her to like Venom 2. So, all right,
Yeah.
I'll give it that. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm not a fan of the Venom movies. A lot of people are. I didn't mind to, but a lot of people do love these movies. I do think, besides Deadpool 3, I think that Venom has the most potential of being the highest grossing comic book movie of the year. Because Venom 1 made like over 800 million. Even in a pandemic, Venom 2, I think it crossed 500 million, I think. Even in a pandemic.
I believe so. Yeah,
Like,
I
they
remember.
make money.
Yeah, and I remember this. It was like before No Way Home came out in 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were right. I just looked it up. Yeah, like just a wee bit over $500 million in overall gross.
Yeah, so they make money. So it's gonna make money. It's probably
Alright.
gonna do very, very, very well. So despite all of us cracking jokes and making fun of it, I do think it's gonna be a successful. And I'll be there. Like, as much as I'm cracking jokes and dumping on it, I'll be there day one. I'm a YouTuber who talks about movies. What am I supposed to do? I'm gonna be
It's our
there.
job. It is our job, right?
So yeah, number 3 for me is Inside Out 2.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And that,
Okay. Yeah.
I think we can all agree then that trailer just was such a delight. I love the first film. I think there's so much potential with sequels and where they can go as Riley gets older, and the introduction of anxiety as she's entering high school is just perfect. I think it looks awesome.
I think it's very clever, actually.
Yeah, very smart. It's
Like-
like the genius that you expect from Pixar. And I feel like we've been lacking that a little bit. Like, not that their entries have been bad,
Yeah.
but this was kind of like, oh yeah, Pixar is brilliant for reasons like this. Like, this is perfect.
Yeah, I get that. I saw Elemental last year, and well, again, it's not terrible. It's good, but it's not like, oh my god, here come the waterworks. Good.
Yeah, lots of water, but none from me.
I think out of every Disney Pixar movie, there was only one awful entry, and that's Cars 2.
Yeah, but is the Good Dinosaur Pixar? I can never remember.
Yeah,
I think
it is.
I didn't care for that one.
Yeah.
I didn't care for the Good Dinosaur. Ryan, why don't you kick us off with our runner-ups?
All right. Number 2 so my next anticipated Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
Nice.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
It looks really good. Captures the new tone set by Mad Max Fury Road. Anya Taylor-Joy looks great in the role. Chris Hemsworth looks like he's having a ball with the movie. I love. It looks like it's maintaining the aesthetic, but also exploring new areas. And it definitely looks like it's not just going to be another 2-hour car chase. Not bad, mind you. It's just a little variety is welcome. Yeah.
Absolutely, dude. I'm so stoked for that movie. I love Fury Road. I cannot wait to. I have to see the rest of the Mad Max franchise. I've only ever seen Fury Road, but it impressed me so much that I'm so looking forward to this. And I'm probably gonna watch all the Mad Max movies before this comes out.
I am glad that nobody has mentioned this series. But for my number 2 is House of the Dragon season 2. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a popular one.
I have been waiting since the end of season 1 in 2022. Yes. And I was still upset that it wasn't coming out this past summer. And now that we're in 2024, like summer just can't get here any quicker because I really, if you have not seen the trailer or have not, not familiar with the show or the story itself, you see the trailer, it would still be convincing for those who are not familiar with like what's going on here because a lot is happening and I'm glad it's going to continue from where it left off because yeah, it's refreshing.
Nice, man. Yeah, I haven't seen the show, but I know a
Hmm.
lot of people love that show. So not surprised to see someone has it on their list, man. Michael, how about you? What's your number 2?
Well, this number 2 choice was originally going to be number 1, but we're going to save the best for last. Number 2 is Deadpool 3.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
All right.
There's no doubt in my mind that if I don't even expect it to just be mediocre, it's going to be great. Like, not even just the fact that Hugh Jackman's coming back. I mean, it's going to be great. I have no doubt in my mind.
Oh yeah. I think we'll be talking about Deadpool 3 in just a minute here. So I'm gonna hold off on that just
We
a little
are.
bit. I'm just gonna go to
Alright,
my
yeah.
number 2. And I'm actually surprised that this hasn't been said yet. The Penguin.
Oh, right, the HBO
Yeah.
show, right?
That's
right.
right.
Yeah,
I
that-
completely.
That's
Oh my.
coming out this year,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
It is
Diving
this
back
year
into the
also.
Batman world. Oh man,
I
I'm
Dude,
stoked.
I adored that Batman movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I loved. Is it Carl Farrell? Is that his
Colin
name?
Farrell.
Colin
Farrell.
Farrell. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Hard
Yeah,
hard to believe that's him.
yeah. All the prosthetic and makeup, dude. It looks
Yeah, he
great.
looked amazing in that movie. He was like, if you've ever played the Arkham games, he is a pretty amazing live action counterpart.
And he was like the standout of the Batman. I loved him in the
Oh, yeah.
Batman. The story of him rising, taking over Gotham's crime underworld. I believe after the Batman like flooded it. Like I'm so excited for this series. It looks so mature and so good, and I think they're gonna kill it. It's on HBO Max. Well, Max, whatever you want to call the stupid thing now. They put out some great stuff though, and so I'm really looking forward to this. I cannot wait for this to come out. Frank, Ryan, myself, should we just say it all at once?
Sure.
All right.
With that, Michael?
I'm pretty sure Ryan still got number 1 the same as me and Frank, but I'll just count it down. We'll find out. 3, 2, 1.
Kingdom of the
Deadpool
Planet of the
3.
Apes. Oh, no.
Oh, that's gonna be good. That's gonna be.
All right,
I ruined it.
We'll go to Ryan first, and then me and Frank will
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm sorry if I
Double through
misled you there. I forgot about Deadpool 3, but yeah,
No,
I guess.
I love that. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to that movie too. So tell us about it, Ryan. Tell us about your number 1.
Yeah, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Really excited for it. The visual effects looked amazing. I love the original trilogy. I saw like the last 2 and most of the first one, and the fourth one just looks amazing with the visuals. It'll be so cool again to see the apes like fully speaking complete English language sentences. The mystery looks good. I'm interested to see what they do with the human characters. That looks fascinating.
I'm intrigued because it looks like it's starting to catch up to the Charlton Heston era of Planet of the Apes, which the fact that we're getting closer and closer to that. I'm really interested to see, because I'm pretty sure this is the start of a new trilogy. So I'm very curious to see where they're going to lead that new trilogy, and I'm sure it's going to end up with a remake of the original or something close to it. So I think they've been building up to this phenomenally, and I think that this looks like the perfect next step for this franchise. Okay, Frank, should we say it now? Number 1, Deadpool 3. Man, yes. I'll let you go first, Frank. Why can't you wait for Deadpool 3?
Why can't I wait for Deadpool 3? That's going to be the summer blockbuster that's going to be talked about the most. Even more so for viewers that are like non-traditional Marvel fans, but just curious to know if like Taylor Swift is going to be in it, even as a
Wait, what?
cameo. Oh yeah, that's the biggest rumor that's going on around.
I didn't even hear about this.
Weirdly
yeah.
enough, that seems to work for Deadpool's character.
Yeah, no,
Actually, I could actually see that, honestly.
He does
I
have an
think-
Adventure Time watch.
I think the speculation
Mhm.
regarding that is very flimsy because they
Yeah,
all went to a
it
football
is.
game together. I think that's a little bit of a weak thing to build your
is.
theory on. But I also wouldn't be surprised if she did pop up in there. I mean,
Me neither.
why don't
me
you do
neither.
that?
And yeah, and a lot of what it's talked about is that it's rumored that she'll be playing a comic character named Dazzler, who's actually a mutant in the comic books. And Dazzler is an artist, so it's either gonna be that or Ryan Reynolds is gonna have her perform a song, like he did with Celine Dion, who performed that song for the main song for
Oh
Deadpool
yeah,
2.
Ashes.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
great music video.
Yeah.
That really was.
I hope it's that route because again, Taylor Swift, she's cool, but I remember I saw her in like Amsterdam and she was fine. But of course, then again, I don't think anyone was on their end game in that movie. So who knows? Second chances.
No, I mean Deadpool 3, you got Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman in there. Deadpool, Wolverine. Like, this has been building up unintentionally in some ways since X-Men Origins Wolverine. We've waited for this for a very long time. The yellow suit looks amazing. And this is just one of those movies where it's like, I believe it's going to be awesome because everyone involved knows it has to be awesome. This has to live up to the first two Deadpools. Ryan Reynolds knows that. This has to be a good movie for Marvel. Kevin Feige knows that.
Yeah, Sean Levy is directing it. So
Sean Levy's the director. He's done some great
so,
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He directed Free Guy with Ryan. So
yeah. And Hugh Jackman had a send-off already, so he knows that this has to be worthy of him coming back. So he knows this has to be awesome. Like, everyone involved is just at their creative heights right now, and I have no doubt about it. This is going to be an amazing movie.
Yeah. I just hope that the writer strike doesn't impact this movie too much because Ryan Reynolds, this is like his first time being involved on the writing for the movie, and because he was a writer, in that brief time between the writer strike going on and the actor strike, Reynolds wasn't allowed to ad-lib his dialogue because that would, in a weird way, be him writing dialogue on the spot.
Yeah. Now that the strike is over, though, in post-production, just get Ryan Reynolds in the booth to do some voiceover when he's in the mask. And
he's wearing a mask.
Yeah. So that'll probably help the problem quite a bit. All right, Michael, what's your number one? Finish us off here.
All right. So my number one is a movie you guys probably haven't heard of, but you guys definitely do know the director. I know that. The movie is called Riley, and it's being directed by somebody named Michael Ennedy.
New movies coming out this year?
Okay, very cool.
Riley.
Yep. Yeah. You see what I did there? Like, at first I'm like, no, it does count because it does count. It is going to be real. So it's going to be premiering at Pollock Cinemas in Tempe, Arizona. It's going to be there for 2 nights. It's also going to premiere in New Mexico in November. It's going to be streaming on Amazon and Tubi probably December of this year. We're still going through all the distribution and all that stuff. We're just wrapping up a couple of days left of filming, but it's coming. It's going to be on streaming, so you guys will actually be able to watch it. So that is my most anticipated film.
Yeah. That's a good number one pick. Good choice.
Yeah. You guys probably didn't expect that. I was...
No, not at all. That's awesome.
Right.
Well,
I
mean,
very cool.
when did you say that was? It'll be on Amazon and Tubi on December?
Yeah, somewhere around there, because we're going to have the premiere first in October. And as far as distribution, we have to get it distributed, which takes about like 6 to 7 months. So we're going to get that right when we're done officially editing it. The trailer is on my Facebook, and it's also on Instagram, but I will post it on YouTube probably in the next couple days so you guys can check it out. It'll be right on my YouTube channel.
Perfect. Well, there you go, guys. Definitely take a look out for Michael Entity's. Is this your first feature?
first feature. I also am working on like another feature right now, but the other feature I'm working on is like a really small horror film that I'm just gonna put on YouTube. Just something that it's only gonna be like a 55-minute movie, so that one's just gonna be like a straight to YouTube kind of thing. But Riley is gonna be like my very first like feature film that's like gonna be on streaming and in theaters and stuff.
That's very cool, man. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Honestly,
Congrats.
huge
Big
congratulations.
congrats.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, closer to the date, we'll have to have
So
you
much.
like on the channel or something, and we'll get you to promote it. We'll talk about it. It's yeah, that's awesome. I'm excited about that, man. I've got Tubi, so I'll definitely be checking that out when it comes out. And with that, guys, that is our top 10 most anticipated. At least some of the stuff we're anticipated for. I mean, there's still some more. I mean, if that new John Krasinski movie looks pretty good, that's coming out later this year. There's a lot of good stuff that we have to look forward to this year. So, and yeah, I mean, maybe Craven the Hunter will surprise us. Who knows? But
Maybe Madam Web will be good.
Maybe Madam Web will be my #1 favorite movie of the year. When I rank
Fingers
everything I
crossed.
watched, maybe Madam Web.
You never know. You never know. I thought the first Joker movie was gonna be awful, and I loved it. So
Yeah.
you never know.
We'll see how it goes,
Oh,
but
okay. All right.
this was
all right, yeah.
a real great diverse list. I mean, there was some on there that I'd never even heard of from you guys that I'm really looking forward to checking out now. And now the question goes to you guys watching. What are you most anticipating this year in 2024? Comment down below and let us know. Before I go, I got to thank these members by being here, and they got to tell you guys where you can find them. So let's start with you, Ryan. Tell the people where they can find you.
So you can find me on YouTube and Letterboxd at Movie Reviews with Ryan Lane. I review about 2 or 3 movies a week, and I do the occasional top 10 list. I just released my top 10 best and worst of 2023 list just on New Year's Day.
Excellent, man. Yeah, those lists are so much fun to put together. Frank,
Yeah.
how about you? Where can the people find you?
All right, it is Frank, and you guys can find me as Optimistic Forever on YouTube, and you can also find me on Instagram and Twitter X. Just follow me on both of those social media platforms, and let's talk about movies.
Absolutely, man. That's awesome. And Michael, where can they find you and your new film, Riley?
You can find me on YouTube. Just type it in, Michael Entity. You can also follow me on Instagram. I go by the same exact thing, Michael Entity. And my film Riley will be coming out in, I want to say, December on streaming. And if you guys want to follow us on Instagram, you can also type in Riley the movie. We also have an IMDb page that you can check out. And yeah, that's basically all there is to it.
Very, very cool, guys. And yeah, you can find me here, just where you're at. I'm here. I live here. And with that, guys, thank you for watching the first episode, and thank you all for joining the first episode of Members Talk Live for 2024. So excited for this year with you guys. So thankful, so grateful, and so honored to have you all here joining. And we'll talk to you again real soon.